and execute a game plan and play at a high level. So that's what we'll go through and kind of the things that we learned throughout the year, and some of the things I think will help you as you guys deal with this. Whether it's every year you have a new guy or you have a young kid coming in to play this year, hopefully this will give you some insight into that. Now, the first thing that I do whenever we bring in quarterbacks, especially young players, is we give them a homework assignment. After they've been in the offense for about a week, and they've kind of learned the scheme, I ask them the question. I say, what are the non-negotiables for the quarterback position at the University of Maine? And this is especially important for a young quarterback because I want him to own these things. I want him to feel like he knows these like the back of his hand, so that if he is asked to play, he's very well accustomed to these non-negotiables. These are bottom line. These are the things you have to do great to succeed in this offense. And, every year I ask the question, I get different results and kind of take the best 4 or 5. But I think it's a good question to ask your young quarterbacks after they've been in the offense for a week, a month, a couple months, for a season, what are the non-negotiables to play here? And for us, we were kind of in the midst of doing that now this spring as we're doing our Zoom meetings. I've asked them this question, as we go through the spring installs. But these were what kind of we came up with last year in order to play for us. And I think there's a couple more here and there, but this is the basis of it. We ask our quarterbacks on every single play to find your friend. And we term the friend the free safety. You got to be able to locate him pre-snap. That's a non-negotiable, bar none. Tell me where he is. Tell me what he did. And what does that mean for the secondary shell? Make the routine play, not the super play. There's so many times in this offense where we give you the chance to take the shot, but really you can't go broke taking a profit. And so we ask our quarterbacks, make sure that if that routine play is there, that first read in your progression, it's there. We need to be able to take that. There's always going to be a leadership aspect to it. And especially as a young guy, it's important for them to understand that is a responsibility of theirs as they come in and mold themselves into the starting quarterback, that they take pride in being a thermostat, not a thermometer. They got to set the temperature of the room, set the temperature of the practice, not go up and down with the goods and bads, of daily quarterback play, of daily practice, of games, to really set it for everybody else, defensively, offensively, special teams, because at the end of the day, they are the ones that are looked at. That's what it all comes back down to, is the quarterback. And then number 4 is, for us, is be ready to anticipate, not to guess. A lot of the schemes that we run, we talk about what might happen on a certain player, what look we really want to get. We have to be able to anticipate that result, but we cannot guess. And there's no hunches in this offense. I think this might happen. Hey, anticipate the throw, anticipate the read, but we will not guess. So those would be the 4 things, and maybe there's a 5th here and there, but it's a good question for your quarterback. Hey, what are the non-negotiables? All right. So after we come up with those non-negotiables, we're in the middle, whether it be preseason, spring practice, or we're in the middle of the season. I felt like it was important to have a routine for the young quarterback. I wanted him. There were so many things that he could not control. I wanted to make sure we controlled the things that we could control with him, and that was a daily routine, a daily preparation. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, those are our practice days of outlining the drills and the things that we wanted to get done. So when he came out to practice, well, we knew, and this goes for all the quarterbacks, they knew, hey, Tuesday's focus was a heavier lower half day. We were going to do more movement. We were going to work on the drops for the week, and we were going to work on our now throws. And I got a couple videos of these drills that we would do on Tuesdays, so you kind of have an understanding. It's heavier in the lower half, well, because we're a couple of days away from the game, and we kind of got to get ready from what just happened last week. We've already had a day off. We got to get the feet moving. So I call this drill the left foot only drill. It's an opportunity for us to get going a little bit. It's a 10-second drill. I ask the quarterbacks to get the ball loaded on the back right collarbone, get their eyes up, and only move with their left foot. So you can see he's going left over. As soon as that thing touches, he's coming back to the other side. And at the end, I ask him to balance. And really it becomes a competition. What I have the quarterbacks do is I have one stand on one side, and as they return, that's 2. And I ask the quarterbacks that are waiting and watching to count out the reps. And in 10 seconds, we have guys getting anywhere from 20 to 25 reps down and back, get the feet going, keep a good posture, keep their eyes down the field. Another Tuesday drill that we like to do, especially with the quarterbacks that we have now, It's the RPO throw drill. We not always do we get another running back or receiver with us, so we'll work it amongst ourselves. We'll work the footwork. I'll have them always work an inside zone drill, a read drill, and then I'll give them another ball where they can then throw the next one on the run. So give them a couple of these on Tuesday, whatever the RPO is for the week, get a little bit more movement, but they know that this is a Tuesday drill. We're going to perfect all these throws on Tuesday. I'll also put them in the simulator drill. This is something we do on Tuesdays. I put 2 bags about 4 to 5 yards apart, straddling a white line, and it's a competition drill. The ball gets snapped at the same time. The goal is for them to get as much depth as fast as they can and get the release out. And I film it so that you can get a competition with it, is who can get the ball out fastest while getting the most depth in their drop. And that's the simulator. They pop in, they'll get both throws on each side, and we'll make it a competition. So that's really Tuesday's drills. So Wednesday, being a heavier throw day and third down day, the focus is always on escapes. It's on bag moves. It's on screen drops. Okay, it's where we can perfect some of these scenarios that we might be in a heavy pass situation. This is one we do every day, on every week on Wednesday. They'll get a quick snap. Then they'll work the hip flips. And really what the hip flips is simulating is after they catch and set and balance in the pocket, they're flipping to a target and they're resetting their eyes back into the progression. So they'll flip, reset. And after about 2 or 3 flips or 4 or 5, whatever you want to do, we work an escape. And there's a couple different escapes that we'll work on Wednesday. One is our flat escape. Simply put, I want them sprinting as fast as they can, flat down the line, work to get their hips flipped as soon as they get even with the target. And then the other one, great, best case scenario, you can do a nice depth release, attack your receiver down the hill. And that's the same thing for both ways. So we'll work both different types of escapes, try to get each guy a rep going both ways, flat with some depth, and kind of give everybody some reps. Just understand, hey, worst case scenario, we might be in this situation where we need to get out of the pocket. So I ask them to flip, reset, and go. So this is the hip flips and escape drill. This doesn't necessarily need to be a Wednesday drill. It ended up being for us this year. It's just the bag move. Everybody does stuff like this. Focusing more on the footwork rather than the throw. Really what we try to teach is grab and grasp, stay in a nice wide base, keep the ball in a great carriage position on the back collarbone, and keep your eyes up. The other component to this drill is whether I want to give numbers to the quarterbacks and have them make sure that their eyes are up. And then the end of this drill, if I want them to work an escape, is I'll say, get out, and then I'll ask them to sprint through the bags like you just saw that other quarterback do it. So again, we'll work through the bags. As soon as I say get out, I want them to get their knees up, finish on a downhill throw. So just, again, a little bit heavier, working some escape, working the pocket movement. This also being a heavy pass day, I want to make sure we work some pocket presence. This is the pressure drill. So as a coach, I'll stand there with the bag. I will attack the quarterback as they're working a now throw drill, which is a catch and a throw. As quick and as possible as you can. You don't need the grip. You don't need the laces. You need to grip it and rip it. So we're looking to catch, anchor our foot, and go. I'm going to come attack every time the same way, but I'm not always going to make contact. So really emphasize stepping up in the pocket, finishing your throw, finishing with velocity, no matter what is going on in front of you. And that's really here is really good job. This is Chris, our quarterback who got hurt this year. You know, he's stepping into this thing no matter what. But what I'm looking for is that when I'm not attacking them or when I'm coming but not hitting them, I don't want to see them kind of jump backwards like they would about to be hit. So I want to see them stay in the pocket and throw. So that leads into Thursday, which is more of a, you know, it's obviously a big mental day, but it's also our red zone focus. So every Thursday, the entire team, the entire offense knows we're doing our scramble drill. That's always done the last day of the week, finalize some things, making sure we're on the same page. And any footwork that I felt like, you know, maybe we didn't get in during the week, and, you know, being, you know, one of our screens, maybe we had some red zone screens in for the week. That will always be a little bit lighter on the footwork on Thursdays, more technical, making sure the timing is right. This is a clip from our New Hampshire game. We didn't have anything filmed from our scramble drill, but this is exactly the same drill that we run on Thursdays. I ask the quarterback to take a 3-step drop, balance in the pocket. I ask them to do a couple movements, whether it's a wave drill, left, right, up, back. I'll say, get out. I'll ask them to sprint 10 yards in the opposite direction. And I'll say, reverse. And then I'll ask them to reverse the field. And then, as you can see, the receivers, again, need to get into scramble drill mode. So we'll always work the scramble drill on Thursdays. This is an in-game application of it, which is what I try to find anytime we're making a drill tape and say, hey, here's the drill in practice. Here's the drill in the game. It happens. We need to practice it. And here's why. So this is exactly what the scramble drill is. We'll get one on each hash, and it's good for the receivers, good for the tight ends, good for the running backs to understand, hey, he might go this way to start. Make sure we're mirroring the quarterback. He might point us to go one way, but we need to get flat. We need to find our lane. We need to get to the sideline that he's rolling to. So that's always a Thursday drill. Gives the quarterbacks confidence, especially a young kid, knowing that, hey, if I'm scrambling around back there, I got guys with me that are on the same page, and I feel confident now that I can, deliver the ball in this type of situation. This is something I've been doing for as long as I've been coaching the quarterbacks. At the end of every week, and this is a Friday hotel, and this is a very simple drill. I think this can be done at all levels, down to Pop Warner if you really wanted to, is we do a simulated game at the end of the week. I create a 10 to 12 play drive, and I'll show you our simulated game from our Liberty game this year. The quarterback, the starter for that week, knows that this is coming. This is a Friday night hotel drill. This is a Saturday morning of maybe a Saturday night game. But hey, simulated game time. In this simulated game, what I put is 10 to 12 plays, whether they be our openers for the day, or they are formations that are certain looks that we're really, looking to exploit from the defense that given week to make sure the quarterback sees it again at the end of the week, right before the game starts. I'll give him a down and distance. I want to hear what he's expecting in that down and distance from this defense. And then I'm going to have him stand up in front of the room and actually signal the play. I will play the clip. I want him to tell me exactly what's going to happen and where he should go with the ball or where he should go with the run read. And then we kind of go from there. So, for example, what I have him do, hey, 1st and 10, this is one of our plays on our opener this week, trips left, 65 under. Okay? So I play the Liberty game. I pull a couple clips of maybe some of the highest tendency looks that they're going to give to this formation. Or maybe this is a look that, hey, let's get ready for it. It's not a high tendency, but we got to be prepared for it. And really against Liberty, it was we need to find ways to get our single receiver the ball with access, where he was cushioned. How can we get that matchup? So we knew that this is going to be one of the openers of the game. I asked the quarterback, hey, his answer in this case would be, hey, I'm expecting a 2-high safety shell. If I find my friend pre-snap, 3-by-1, it's a big quarters team. I need to go to the single receiver. Done. Great. Let's go to the next play. Hey, there's a 6-yard gain. Great job. Here's the next play. So he'll signal it in, double right, 65 F option. Great. So then I show him the clip of what this formation will look like against Liberty. And I want him to say, hey, second and short, medium plays, hey, we got to be ready to take this one-on-one matchup on the rover. Great. Done. Completed pass. Let's go 1st and 10. Trips right flex. So this is, again, we're trying to develop a quick mind in general, but especially before game day. Hey, just keep that mind fresh on some of the things that we definitely think were going to happen. Against Liberty this year, we knew 3 receivers to the sideline formation at the boundary was a huge emphasis. So I made sure to put that on the simulated game this week. Hey, see the look again. Here are the 4 plays we're running out of it. Tell me exactly what's going to happen. Great. 2nd and 5. Okay. Hey, we wanted to do multiple things out of this 3 receiver set. Okay, let's go zone read this week. Signal in the zone read with the tag. Okay, when are you throwing it? Okay, 3-by-1. We knew it was going to be 1 high. The rover was going to kind of be in no man's land of the field. Great. We were going to throw that every single time. I want him to hear it, say it, develop that quick mind. Great. Let's go. And I'll always give them a 3rd down, maybe 2 3rd down simulated game plays on some of their looks on 3rd down that we're probably going to see. And I'll always finish the simulated game on Friday nights or Saturday mornings with a touchdown. Somebody scoring a touchdown against this team. And maybe it's a great clip. Maybe it's something like this where, it's just an explosive play. Maybe it's a play that we end up in the red zone and we got to run a red zone play. So we'll always end the week. And I think this is crucial. It really helped our guy this year. the simulated game. We do them now in the off season, put it together, 10 to 12 plays, 5 plays. This is a segment of it. Just hear his thoughts. Quick mind. It's important. This is what we're going to see, just so he's fresh and ready to go. So that's the week of prep. Okay, the week is done. We did our Indy. We can get into the game plan and all that stuff at another time. But this is the focus of today, is the young quarterback. What to do with the young quarterback? This kid was 18 years old. He's rolling into a game. He came in halfway through our Richmond game. It's important to cater to him in every which way possible, because at the end of the day, it runs through him. So the must-haves in the plan. Each week we would look at this, a sheet just like this, and be, okay, we know we need to put these plays into the plan some way or another. We need to formation them differently, maybe motion them, but these are the plays I believe you need to have in your plan for a first-time starter quarterback. And there's a lot of reasons why, and we'll go through them as we go. Just in short, before we get into the drop back plan. Again, I always tell them, quick mind, quick mind, quick mind. If we can't put a play up on the board and just can't rattle off some answers or descriptions of that play against different looks, or he doesn't understand it, he doesn't like it, well, that's not very weird. Our mind isn't working very quickly. That plays out. It's our job as coaches, especially with a young quarterback, to protect the quarterback. So whether that be protections for that week, maybe they're simple, maybe there's not that many of them. Maybe they're all 7-man, maybe it's all full slide. It's our job as coaches in general to protect the quarterback. If we're getting hit every time on some of the same pressure, well, that's on us. We need to fix that. Same as reads. This is something that I found a couple of years ago. Same as reads are the easiest to understand. So what do I mean by this? If you can put in a play, it doesn't matter if it's a run play or a pass play. If you can say to your quarterback, hey man, this play is the same read as this play. Okay, in their mind, okay, that makes sense. I really understand this one. It's the same as that one. Great. I get that. And that's especially true, I believe, in the drop back pass plan. Is you can have all these cool concepts, but if they're all individual of themselves and there's no relation to any of them together, well, man, that's a lot for your quarterback to know, especially a kid that just got into the offense. So same as reads are good. They're important and they're easy to understand. Run game plan, keep it tight. I think it's important to lean on your offensive line a little bit more, especially when you have a young player at the helm. Can he help you? I think this is something we found early on with our guy. Our quarterback could help us in the run game. And those are something that he really, really liked to do. They were confidence plays. And it's important to find those confidence plays for the quarterbacks that he really understands them and he executes them at a very, very, very high level. So if he can help you, and really, it doesn't have to be a game breaker as a runner. But if he can keep a defense honest, it's important to exploit that, because a lot of quarterbacks feel very confident in doing that. And I think this next piece, and I don't know if Coach Charles is in here, but it just kind of worked out this way as we put in our gadgets. It's important. You got to have a gadget. You got to have a reverse pass. It's important to do that. And we have fun doing it as a staff and putting those plays in weekly. What we found out, though, is 3 weeks into the season, when we started to run these gadgets, they really started to work. So we said, hey, it's a 3-week rule. If we work on a play for 3 weeks, a trick play, it's going to work. And a lot of the time, those plays in that 3rd week were explosive. They were executed exactly the way that we wanted them to be executed. So if you're going to run a gadget with your first-year freshman quarterback, junior quarterback, he's an 18-year-old kid in college, practice it. Doesn't need to be 3 weeks. Practice it until you feel like he's got it. And whether that's 2 days of practice, 10 days of practice, you need time for those things. Timing is important, and you got to make sure that you give them their due there. You can do stuff, right? This last night, you can do stuff. Just make sure he understands it. I think at times, we would look at things, from a game plan perspective, like there are a lot of things we feel like we can do to this team. We have a lot of stuff we like. Make sure they understand it. Get the football right at the end of the day. Make sure that it is our responsibility as coaches to put these quarterbacks and these players in a position where they feel confident executing and having success. Get the football right. Get the scheme right. So what's in the must-have pass game? These plays are very transformational. They can be run in many different formations. They can be run against very different looks. And I think that's the most important piece as we get into these plays here is these are very sound football plays. They have a lot of answers. And for a quarterback to have answers, that's important to solve the problem at the line of scrimmage. So these are plays. I'll let this run because it might be a little jumpy. But if we have screens in the game plan, these are not running back screens because that's not the same. I'm talking about tunnel screens, slip screens to the receivers where the quarterback can catch and throw. Any catch and throw in the game plan is golden for a young quarterback. The more that you can have in those, and that's a conversation we had every day at every beginning of the week on game day week for prep. Do we have enough catch and throws in the plan? He's really good at them. We get the ball into the playmakers' hands, the guys that have been here for a long time, like our receivers, excellent playmakers. But, how many of those do we have? And so we always had 2 to 3 tunnel screens a game, formation differently. What we like to do, and I'll diagram it really quick, is we really want to run these out of a 3-receiver formation. Motion to it. Line up in it. Bring somebody down and back. Doesn't matter. Because we felt like, again, it didn't matter the look that we got. We would always have, out of the 3-by-1 set, we would have somebody to block the rover, the alley. We'd have somebody to block the corner. And we would have a tackle and a guard out for help, whether it was onto a safety. It was onto a Mike linebacker, right? We had bodies on bodies in this set. It's like, well, coach, it's a screen. Yeah, it is. We averaged, I believe, 12 yards a catch on screens on this screen behind the line of scrimmage. It was a great confidence booster for the quarterback, and we had it in every single game out of the formation. We did not have a misassignment from the quarterback position on this play, and I think that's the most important thing. So 3-by-1, get to it any way you want, formation it any way you want. You can run it both ways. Maybe you have a tackle that pulls better to the left or a receiver that's better on the right, then run it that way. Quarterback knows this play inside and out. He has very little responsibility, and his job is to be accurate with the football. And that's where you can tell, hey, be accurate with the football, and we're off to the races. And it really gave our guys with experience another chance to get the football, which is our wideouts. So I believe you need to have tunnel screens in the plan. The next concept, and probably just as important as tunnel screens, are mirrored concepts. This is something that we talk about, again, at the beginning of every week. So do we have enough of mirrored concepts in the plan? So what we do in our mirrored concepts, it's very, very consistent, okay? Protectionally, it's very sound. It is a 7-man pass pro. We can hold up. We have answers with the tight end and the running back involved in the plan. They know their responsibilities, whether it be outside linebacker, the offensive line, knows they have the 4 and the mic. It's great. It's protected. Okay, so what kind of concepts can we run out of a mirrored concept? And again, this is also something that we can formation and get to it in a different way, motion to it, shift to it to make it look different. But to us, it's the same as. More same as is good. So mirrored concepts. Very simple. Maybe it's a go week. We run goes. Okay, great. Our mirrored concepts are always the same on the outside. Our number 2 receiver always have what we call a delta, which is really his landmark is the opposite hash seam at about 18 yards. Maybe the verticals would have been, he would be number 3 trying to get to the opposite hash. And you always have a check down on both sides of the ball, which is important for the quarterback to have an outlet. And this is every single mirrored concept that we run. So it's a 3-by-1 deal. We'll always have a tight end and we'll always have a back in the flat on each side of the concept. Very simply put, One of the non-negotiables as the quarterback is you must be able to identify your friend, which is your free safety. On the snap of the ball, we ask him, what did he do on his first 2 steps? Okay, well, in this case, on his first 2 steps, he is drifting in towards the hash. Great. Very simple for the quarterback. We're going to take a chance on our single receiver matchup, whether it be back shoulder. Maybe it's a over the top 3 ball. It's a drive ball. We will talk about the types of throws, but very simply put, it keeps us on the same side. And if we didn't, for whatever reason, couldn't get there, we are always bringing people back into his vision. So we would always tell the quarterbacks 1 to 2 on the delta to 3 on the check down. There is really no reason, there's a very specific reason, why we would take the field mirrored route. That is a true man throw. If it is man to man, and we've talked about a pre-game, pre-week planning, that your matchup now is at the field, great. Man throw, it's to the field. You still have your check down underneath that. So you're never having to go from one side of the field to the other. You stay on the same side of the field, and you can read it very easily. So what other mirrored concepts? And we have a couple here on tape. We got the goes, very easy, great, send them. We have out routes, deep outs at 10 yards. We have stop routes at 10 yards. All right, that's very easy. We have comeback routes, all right, at 12 yards. So those are the mirrored concepts that we run. We don't have them all in every week, all right, but we have 1 or 2 of them, whichever we feel like we do the best and maybe is better against a certain team. Okay, so that's the verticals version of it. Okay, so what happens now? And you always got to, look at the worst case scenario. Again, here's your friend, find your friend, quarterback, right? Here's your mirrored concepts. You got to have him in. He gets off the hash. Now I'm telling him, okay, snap your eyes to the delta. And that's exactly what he does. Snaps his eyes to the delta and replaces really where the free safety would be, okay, in the middle of the field. So again, this is another version of our mirrored routes, go routes. Got to have this concept in with the young quarterback, okay? Or, okay, this was a final drive down against Rhode Island this year. You can also run a stutter concept, a stutter and go out there. Maybe that's the plan. Maybe we run a lot of goes. We showed them a lot on tape, and we really want to run stutters. Okay, we can do that. Nothing changes, though, for the quarterback. We still have all 3 parts of the field and phases of this concept taken care of. His read is the same as your read on goes, outs, comebacks, fades, stop routes. They're all the same as. They're the same as. So we've talked about 5 different concepts that are the same as reads. So here we go. All right, he's got his eyes on the free safety here. Free safety bails a ton off the hash. Great. On my balance step, all I'm doing is I'm driving back up in the pocket, and I'm replacing with the delta. Again, this was a play we completed over 65% of the time. His completion percentage was 66% on the year. This was a massive completion, and really a lot of the time it was for explosive plays. Okay. And we talked about this one before too, is, we try to match up our formations as coaches to maybe this is a run formation. Maybe this is a pass formation. We want to action out of it. We want to screen out of it. Well, in this given week, we wanted to run our mirrored concept with out routes from condensed splits. Nothing changed, though, for the read of the quarterback, right? We primarily start, if it's all balanced, we tell, hey, start to the boundary. Your free safety is your key. Here he goes boundary to number 2. Free safety is inside the hash. Great. He's not going to panic, right? His free safety is still inside the hash. He's just going to dump the ball down to the back on our check down underneath our read. So you can see what it looks like here. We got our outs with our deltas and our check down. So it's another version of the mirrored routes, same as. So if you're adding these up, we got 3 tunnels in the plan, some form of tunnels. We have 5 to 7 mirrored concepts. So that takes up probably 8 or 9 of the throws in the game. It depends on how many throws you want to have. That's maybe a quarter of your plan or a third of your plan right there of routes that are base offense. You can game plan them by formation, and the quarterback understands it. This is another concept that we really like. I believe you need to have option routes. And especially if you have a guy that you feel like is dynamic in a phone booth. So what I mean by that, we had one guy, Ernest Edwards. We've had other guys that try it, and we're gonna have new guys that do it this year that excel at in space against a rover or a strong safety or a guy that we feel like we always can get that matchup. And so we give him the option. Very simple concept. We tag the player that we want to run the option. So in this case, hey, Ernest is playing the Z or the F or the X. And we're saying, hey, Ernest, we've called in the formation. The quarterback sees, hey, it's option. Great. I know in my head, all my option reads, we can have anybody we want running them, is always the same. I'm always going to the option, route runner, to the backside option, to the running back. And very simply put, we ask the quarterback, hey, take 3 steps, balance, anticipate the break on the option route. You can see Ernest here. Okay, he's in charge of stemming him up, running his route at 6 to 8 yards, and for us to really anticipate the route, let him win, but understand that our backside option route, which is again got to be at 8 yards, so that if we get off this thing, we still can flip and go to the backside. So you can see that right here. Again, we're good on the front side option. They double number 3, which we had a feeling they might do this week. So we stay on the option, the one-on-ones. Where's our one-on-one? Got to find them. And then we would come back. We'd ask the quarterback to progress to the backside option. Very simply put, very easy concept. Same thing here. You can run them out of 3 receivers to 1, 3 by 1, 2 by 2, whatever you feel like the formation it's going to take for you to get that one-on-one. And teams have answers for this too. So this can't be like, hey, I'm going to run this 12 times. Teams will double and all that stuff. So this is definitely a play that you have to scheme up, but it's a very easy read and a must-have. So you can see Ernest up to the top. Again, he's got your option routes. We give them goes on the outside. If we get any sort of heat, 0, 0, 0, I always have my catch and throw, which goes back to the first thing we talked about, where your catch and throws. So here you go. You got your front side option route. Let Ernest go to work a little bit, anticipate the break, let him win. And if we did not like that, if he got bracketed, we would flip our eyes right now to our backside tight end, and we would go to him there. Okay, so those are the 3 must-haves. Okay, and this really became a must-have this year, and it became a very easy read for the quarterback. And I'll kind of start moving a little bit so we can get through all this. Top-down reads, where the quarterback can drop back, he can read the middle of the field, and you can progress him through all the way down the progression. In our case, we have a couple different things, but what he really was good at and what he really liked, and you can tell it that he liked it in practice, was posts. So we would make sure we had a post-in concept every single week, somehow, some way in the formation. Very, very easy read. Some form of in, post concept. Maybe we need to have another guy to take the free safety out of it or somebody away, but where we're telling the quarterback, hey, you are reading the safety at the in route. Okay, great. So he's reading the safety at the in route. He takes the in route. We take the post. If he doesn't take the in route, we take the in. And we'll always give him a check down to that side of the ball. We will never ask him to read back to the other side of the field. So you can see it here. Maybe this is a drop back. Could very well be. We could just drop back to it. Or maybe we feel like we get a little bit more influence in a given week. Hey, quarterback, this is the concept that's the same as this. We're just going to add an action to it. You can do that, which is what we did here. All right. The other thing, right? So in addition to the post in, right? Even a singular post where you feel like you could control the freeze somehow, but his eyes have never changed. His read is the same. It's a free safety read. This is something we did with an invert team. We knew if we kept the tight end in to protect, it would act as our in route, and they would invert that. So we tell the quarterback, hey, this week our post in concept really is a post concept, right? We keep the safety on the hash, and we ask our receiver really to stay even skinnier than he does here. This was our Liberty game, right? So we had just seen this in the simulated game. We felt like, again, we could exploit them. So how do we give them the post concept each week? And this week, it was off the ride. Again, it was a full progression. We were always giving him the post, top, down, all the way through the progression. We will never ask him to go back to the other side of the field. So he can read the middle of the field, progress, whether it's through an in, whether it's through an over, whether it's through the tight end in protection. We needed to find some way to put a post concept in the plan each week. Sometimes it was post in, sometimes it was post, keep the tight end in, maybe it was post the over from the other side of the field. Any sort of illusion that you can have to run the same play as crucial for the quarterback. And then this one here, this is his first game, was again another action-based coverage against a too high defense, where really didn't think it was going to take too much of sell to get them to play, give the middle of the field open. But very simply put, again, we were reading the middle of the field, whether it be a wheel coming behind it or some sort of over route. We're always progressing top down to the check down. So different ways, you got to have it in the plan. It's a great way to get a shot, to take an alert, to take a matchup. You got speed, put it in the plan. You can get creative with it, where maybe you run a lot of post-in concepts, and the way to change it up a little bit, well, let's run post-wheel concept. So it's another thing that we did, another way we had to put it in the plan. We ran post off the invert this week. Well, let's run post wheel. Again, reading the top down, right? If they covered the top post, we would go to the post wheel. We knew they would cover that thing one-on-one. So again, find a way to put a top down read. We'll talk about another one here in a second, but post in, post over, just a way for the quarterback, all right, to utilize that, his vision going, again, middle, intermediate, and down. Action, drop back, it doesn't matter. Another one that we had to put in, we became, pretty heavily RPO team when probably halfway through the season. So we had to make sure that each week in the plan, we had a bubble sucker for the quarterback. Great for a young quarterback. Gives them confidence to throw the bubbles, knowing that, hey, we're always going to have this plan. So if I ever get frustrated with a bubble getting covered, hey, coach, let's talk about it on the sideline. I know my answer. It's in the plan. Let's call the play. So, it's very, very simple. We will run it out of the same action that we have the run play out of. So, if we're running a lot of pin pull bubble concepts, well, we're going to run the pin pull, or we're going to run the inside zone. We're going to 7-man protect it. It's very, very safe. We're going to ask him to get heavy into the ride, pump the bubble, and then find a way to throw the ball in the hole. So there's a way to, again, we run it as a bubble wheel and a slant and go, or really a stock and go. The other way we'll do it is, again, inside zone fake, if we don't want the puller, but at the same time, again, we're asking a bubble, wheel, stock, go. It's, again, an inside out read with always will have the back in the check down. So we're always keeping him on the same side of the field. We're taking advantage of something that, again, we had in the plan, can be considered a gadget. Maybe it's your gadget for the week. It could be, but it was important for the quarterback to feel confident with our RPOs, knowing that, hey, if they were going to play that, this is our answer. So it was important for us to have that each week. Okay. This is something that we did, kind of started to put in, after. And so these are now complementary plays. Again, plays I believe you really need to have with a young kid. These are same as reads. We call it our deep stops, our individual route on the inside receiver, where we've run a lot of post ins now, right? This is a great compliment. We've run a lot of this stuff. So now, right, let's put the safety into a bind. So we're asking him now essentially to run a deep option route to sit or to work out based off of his play. And again, it's a top down to the check down, wherever that may be coming from, the back or the tight end, off of an action. So again, we ran a lot of post concepts. You've seen them. This is a great combination and a great change up to it to sell the deep shot, sell your speed on the slot, to give them some eyes like we're going to take advantage of the vertical and have them sit in the middle of the field. Explosive play, matchup in the slot, very good. And again, with these option route concepts for a young player, he knew that he would start with that guy first and then progress all the way down. Similar look here. Again, we had just hit him on a post. So we wanted to put our speed inside. Great change up here for the post in concept off of the action. Whatever your best action is, we gave him a full 7-man protection every time. He would always read the option route first, which is here in the slot, down to the check down. Really good change up to the deep throws. Gives you a chance to really sell vertical and throw the ball underneath off of a great action. Really important for the young player to feel confident that, hey, if again they take away that shot, which we have receivers that can run by guys, okay, what is our answer going to be? The last couple here that we made sure to include each week kind of goes back to our post-in combination. This was something that we were really good at. Again, very simple read, very much the same as some of the other things that we've been talking about. And this is something that we, again, added in each week. This was a concept that we really like. All right, we call it our seam in concept, our seam dig concept. All right, where we're bringing everybody over to the same side of the field. We're giving the quarterback essentially a 0-man or a man beater. We're letting him progress 1 to 2 to 3 every single time, right? And that made it very, very easy. We could drop back to this. We could action to this, but he was going to say, essentially, is he open on the seam? No? Great. I got my dig coming back underneath. And if I have to step up in the pocket, I'll always have my shallow coming back across so I can read this thing top down. It's essentially the same read as the post-in concept. The same read, different route combination, but the same as. Seam dig. Very important, very good play for us this year. We'll get moving here a little bit quicker. I'll kind of go through this here. Same concept. Running from the other way, off the action. We got the seam, deep safeties, great, not open. Replace them with the dig to the shallow. I'll kind of keep cruising here. So I think it's important, especially with a young kid, and we'll get into the run game here in a second. What is that in-game conversation like? And, you know, the emphasis and the routine, it always comes back to the routine. You know, he needs to know what his routine is for the week. And whether it be practice routine, pregame routine, what is that in-game routine? So for us, it was always, hey, drive, score, get adjustments, whether it be if you have the ability to get on a headset, great. If you're, you know, if you can talk to him from the sideline, even better. Start throwing. And I would be up in the booth. I would see this happen every single time. And it was really, it was good, whether it was the drive was good or bad. We knew that, hey, at the end of the day, after my adjustments, hey, I'm just going to go back and get ready to throw. That's it. It's important to be matter of fact. We went into the Richmond game. It was his first start. Got him on the headphones. Not a huge game plan for him because, you know, he's a number 2. We only got a few reps during the week. Here are the plays we're going to run. We had a timeout. We were in between quarters, I believe. I went down the 12, 15 plays that we might be calling on the next drive. And all it was, hey, here's the play. Do you understand it? Yes. Here's the play. Do you understand it? Yes. It's a matter-of-fact conversation. Highlight the situation. It's important. Hey, it's 2-minute drill, 4-minute drill. Hey, it's before half. We're looking to, you know, take it into the half for the score. We want to kick a field goal. You know, whatever it may be, make sure they understand the situation. You know, they're focused on their routine. Just they're smart. They're going to understand what it is. Highlight it. And at the end of the day, I think this is important. Make sure that you're telling them what they need to know to score points and be efficient. Leave out all the other stuff. right? There's a lot of things that you might want him to know in a given situation, but if it's not going to help you in that moment to score points and be efficient, don't bother. Worry about that in the offseason. He doesn't need to know that the tight end tackle block is called a team and a double team. That's not going to help us score points, but what might help us score points is, hey, the tight end's open in the flat, something like that. So I think that in-game conversation's got to be matter of fact, highlight the situation, and make sure you tell him exactly what he needs to know. We'll finish up here with probably the next 5 minutes with what must you have with a young quarterback in the run game. We do these jet sweeps a lot. As a young quarterback, in addition to having the tunnels, which are the now throws, and a couple of the other things that we have jets. And it's funny, when you start installing jets, the quarterback, they stop writing things down. Like, you don't want to know, coach, I hand off the ball. And that's really all this is. Formation your play where we can run a jet sweep where we either have great leverage on the box player, or we can arc to a alley defender, where we feel like we can out leverage people on fast motion. We can do it under center. We can hide the ball a little bit. Maybe it's off of your motion for the week, your shift for the week, or it's just a play that you run. And especially at our level, we are outrunning guys to the perimeter because we are hitting plays full speed and they are not. So this is a jet sweep. We will have, again, 2 of these in every game, formation differently, very safe call, game planned to their weakness. It's a great call. Find a way to run it. Find a way for the quarterback. It's on him to time up these motions, but this is jet sweep. Find a way to do it. Very simply put, confident for the quarterback. He knows what to do. Give the football. Your job is to time it up. The other thing, we talked about this here at the beginning, can your quarterback help you in the run game? And he doesn't need to be a killer. He really doesn't. Can he keep a defense honest? And this is his first game. These are some of the plays we talked about on the sideline. We'll say, hey, you like these plays. You're very confident in your read and your ride and your footwork on this play. Find a way to put 2 or 3 of these in the play. And you don't need to get your quarterback killed if he's your only guy, but be smart with it. And we tell him, very simply put, it's zone read. You are reading the numbers of the end man on the line of scrimmage. If his numbers disappear, you get in gear. And it's knife is the path to bounce. Knife to bounce. Stay tight to bounce to eliminate a linebacker taking a shot at you. Knife to bounce. It's meant for 4 yards. You get 4 yards, I can pull up a million clips where he gets 4 and he slides. No problem. He gets 4 and he gets out of bounds. Great. But these plays were huge. They kept us in games. They were a big part of our run game. And especially against teams like this, hey, confidence builders, confidence boosters, and you need to have as many of those with a young quarterback as you can. Different ways to do it. For us, whether it was straight read, we read the end man. We got into some of the influence stuff, the bluff stuff off of some of our other run formations. Again, quarterback really understood these plays, really understood the timing of it. It was a confidence play for him. He knew how to knife and bounce and get yards and get down. And it was important to do that. We're able to set up other things, and it gives us some latitude in the playbook now where we've run these bluff plays or these read plays a bunch of times. Okay, well, let's put something in off of it now, and it opens up the playbook of something that he's really confident in to something else that he's really confident in. And this was it's just a simple slip play off the last play we just ran, where we said, hey, if it's a pull read, pull it. And then we were going to throw it off the alley defender. The alley defender thought he was getting blocked again because we ran this play 4 times in a row. He did. And we just dumped the ball to the tight end. So confidence plays build more confidence plays. And for the quarterback, that's important. Must-have gadgets. I'll be quick here so we can take any questions. Again, we abided by the 3-week rule. You practice it for 3 weeks. It doesn't only work, it works exactly the way you want it to work. And if, that was for us, we lived with that. We knew that was going to happen. So we felt like, okay, we will keep things in the bank and we will use them as we get to that mark. This was our first play with Joe as quarterback. We felt like, okay, what if we lined him up under the guard? That would be pretty fun. Let's line him up under the guard and see if we can catch him off guard with a young quarterback lining up under the wrong guy. So Is this a must-have gadget? No. Is it something that, you can be creative with a first-year quarterback, a kid that, can start to really understand the playbook and give them some things to, really be excited about in the gadget game? Sure. We didn't practice for 3 weeks. This was a week and a half. Did it work out exactly the way it was planned? No. Did we have a shot? Sure. Was it explosive? Yes. But must-have gadgets, some stuff that we really had a lot of success with. You got to have a Statue of Liberty play. This was, and I'll show it here from the tight. Any way you do it, you got to have one. It's a great misdirection tool. It's really for a guy that can hide the ball. A bigger body quarterback doesn't need to be, but a guy that can really, hide the football. It's deadly. It really is. Especially when you're seeing a lot of guard read teams from the defense. Maybe you throw a pulling guard in there, or you throw a tackle pull. You run a fast motion with it. But here, it's just a Statue of Liberty play, and it ends up being explosive. You got to have one of those. And like I said, confidence plays build off of confidence plays. If you run a great statue of play, well, that opens it up to the next one. A must-have gadget. Put in a fake statue play. Quarterback loves it. He's confident with it. He's done the footwork. He's done the ball handling. It's the same as what we just did before. But now we're selling it off the same motion and throwing a pass off it. Right? So that's another must-have. And then you got your standard, especially with a running quarterback. You got to have your reverse pass off the quarterback run. This was one we had against these guys. Very simply put, we got a couple more, but you got to have these gadgets. You got to practice them. Make sure you feel great about it, especially if you're going to involve the young quarterback. So that's what I got. Coach, I don't know if you want me to take questions or anything like that.
Yeah, Coach, that was great. If anybody out there has some questions, I'm gonna kind of stop the recording, and you guys can turn on your mics and your cameras and come on and ask Coach some questions.